Hey everyone, I'm Robert Parris and welcome to a special summer edition of BNEWS Sports Hub. It has been a decade since the softball team competed at the MIAA state championship game. This year, they had a wild finish over Tewksbury Memorial and were crowned the champs. In this edition, we will talk to head coach Kristen Farrell and assistant coach, also Farrell's dad, Bob Mahoney. We also have the captains Cece Imbimbo, Cassidy, Soohoo, and Bruno. It will be a great show, so stay tuned. And that's all right here, right now on BNEWS Sports Hub. I'm here with Coach Farrell and assistant coach Bob Mahoney. Thank you for coming in. Congratulations, state champs. Yay!
Yeah. Thank you for having us. I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get old hearing it.
No. Long way to go. We went to UMass Amherst and it was a long journey for there. Felt like it was forever to get there, but we got there and we did the business.
We did. Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth the drive, for sure. For sure.
All right, so you said before, Kristen, 3 times a charm in the state championship. You lost the 2 title games in 11 and 13, and it's been 10 years since taking your team there. You finally brought back a state title to your hometown. You won the state championship, first time ever in Red Devil girls softball history.
Yes.
So that's a plus. And Coach Farrell, let's start by talking about leading your team to a historic victory.
This victory, we all knew going into the season that this was going to be, a chance to win it. So we had to take it step by step, right? Because when you have big expectations, you have to just take it, day by day, pitch by pitch. And that's exactly what we did. I also want to add that this state title is for everybody who went through Burlington softball. I had so many alumni reaching out and just with the texts and the phone calls, just saying like how proud they were when we got to the state finals, and then like a flood of messages came in after we won it. Everybody is just so proud of the program and the girls, and it's just a really great feeling to finally bring it home to Burlington.
Now, Coach Mahoney, you were part of this historic journey as well, so just talk about your role as the assistant here.
Obviously, Coach Farrell is a tough act to follow. She just does an amazing job with the girls. She has the patience I don't have. And I have a lot of knowledge where I can teach the game, both to the players and Coach Farrell and the assistant coaches. So I try to more focus on that piece. She's the camaraderie and brings all together. I mean, she took a bunch of girls this year that we knew had potential, but really took and molded them into something really special. And that molding process really didn't start coming to tuition until we hit the playoffs.
Now we have a clip of the 9th run scored against Tewksbury. Let's check it out.
3-1. Lines 1 into the gap, base hit. That'll bring in 2. It should be 9-4. The throw is way late. King, 2-run double 9 for Devils.
So how are you feeling at that moment that you were up 9-4 in the bottom of the 7th?
I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was feeling pretty good. We knew that Tewksbury was a powerhouse when it came to hitting. So there was never a point in the game where I felt like completely confident, like we've got this in the bag. Like never felt that way. But I felt good about going into that last inning, being ahead by 5 runs. Obviously, they came back and they tied it up, but it just says so much to about our girls to be able to shut them down when they did tie it up, right? They shut them down because that game could have been over with one more swing of the bat. They shut them down. And then to come out in the next inning and immediately score a run. I mean, Charlotte gets on with a base hit, and then I forget how she got moved over, but then Madison King with that big RBI to put us ahead. They never gave up, right? And it kind of like took some of the steam out of Tewksbury, I think, at that point, and to go out and pitch Cece had to go out and pitch to their 2, 3, 4 batters, which in any lineup are typically like your best. And she got the job done. And then Cass with that 3rd out, that was a really tough play coming across in the shortstop hole to cut that off. Just amazing, amazing. Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think a real key factor, and especially the Tewksbury game, was their left-handed pitcher, which is actually an advantage for our left-handed hitters. Like right-handed batters in softball, unlike baseball, don't like to face left-handed pitchers because they don't pick up the ball as easily and as well. So our lefty hitters, Katie, Maddie, and Cece, they just crushed the ball, I thought, and hit the hot ball hard all game, and that was big.
Yeah, our batters were just, their selection was just phenomenal. We went into this game, we had an entire practice just based off of like, you know, the drop ball, knowing that she's going to throw a drop ball and she's going to throw outside to righty batters. So we went in a whole practice like just focusing on that. And we had a game plan and they fully executed that game plan. There were a couple that, you know, they got fooled on in the dirt, but they didn't get fooled very often. You know, they adjusted, and that was very impressive. She was a good pitcher. They scored 10 runs off a very good pitcher.
Now we have a clip of Tewksbury tying the game up. Let's check it out.
Trying to keep Tewksbury alive. That's a line drive out towards left. That's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. The game is tied, and Whalen ties the game 9-9 with 2 outs.
I think a huge moment at that point, and it's something we had talked about during the States, was refuse to lose. And I think that really kicked in at that point. And like, everyone wanted the ball. And there was that line drive to Maddie, and you know, there was no question off the bat that she was going to get to it and she was going to catch it, and we were going to go into the next inning with a chance to go ahead again.
Now, what was going through your minds? I'll start with Kristen. Just that tied score.
Yeah. So the game is tied, and they have the top of the order coming up, which is, you know, a scary thought when you're not the home team and have to hold them, right? But there was something I could just see in Cece's eyes, like she just at that moment like just changed, right? Gets that girl to, you know, hit a weak line drive to Maddie at second base, and then she took the mound in the 8th inning with a different presence. Like she went out there and she wasn't, like you had said, she wasn't going to lose. She wasn't.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, maybe going into that bottom of the 7th, I think the whole team probably let up just a little bit. You know, you see it in football, they go into a prevent defense, and guess what happens? The other team starts scoring. So I think everyone let up. I think we all thought Mamie was kind of in the bag, not 100%, but we thought we were there in the driver's seat. And all of a sudden, it was a tie game, and all of a sudden, as Coach says, the switch went on, and she just really bared down. That soft line to Matt at the end of the 7th was supposedly their top hitter on their team. So that was nice to get that out with a runner on second base.
Now, Coach, we saw you go on the mound a couple times. What were you telling Cece at that moment? Just that.
Trying to remember.
Well, she had the issue with her foot.
Oh, that's right. So the field there, the dirt, the gravel was like cement underneath. So when she was throwing, she was actually like creating a hole in her cleat, and her drag foot was in a lot of pain when she was pitching. So we had the trainer like get that taped up so she wasn't like hitting that pavement every time she pitched. And then she switched cleats mid-inning. But other times when I went out there, we were talking about like what the batter had done previously. We were just breathing together, like taking deep breaths, just, you know, trying to build our confidence and talk about how we're going to attack that next batter.
So what were you telling her on the mound during all of this?
Just that, you know, we have this. We're behind her, and that we have her back.
And just talk about, I know the strikeout in the bottom of the 7th. What was the game plan going into extra innings or the 8th?
So the strikeout, sorry, which part was that?
Bottom of the 7th when we're going into extra innings.
Okay. Yeah, when we were getting up, we were hitting that girl well. We knew that we can put that ball in play, so we were going up there again, being very selective, really making sure that if she was going to bring that up in the zone, then we were going to drive it, and if she wasn't, we were going to let it go, and we were going to draw walks if we needed to. And the girls put the ball in play, and they hit the ball so well that game, so well.
Yeah, Charlotte had that big leadoff double down the right field line in the 8th inning. And you could just see, not that we kind of like watch the other team, but you could just see them get deflated. And then when Charlotte came across on Maddie's single to score the go-ahead run, they just seemed like a team defeated at that point.
I definitely wasn't thinking, though, that, like, that was it. Like, we got one run and we're good. Quite the opposite. I was like, oh my gosh, we need more. It's okay that we didn't get more, obviously, but I was definitely not comfortable going into that 8th inning.
So actually in the 8th inning, we have a clip of the Devils scoring. So let's check it out.
Swings and puts one through the gap, base hit. Willie rounding on her horse home, and she will score. Maddie King makes it 10-9.
Now, just talk about the moment Maddie scoring in that inning. Just, you're up by 1.
Yeah, she was so solid all game. I don't remember whether was she 3 for 3 that game?
Something like that,
Something
or 3
like
for
that.
4 or whatever,
She was
yeah.
seeing that ball so well. So when I saw her at the plate with, Charlotte in scoring position, I was very confident that she was going to do something big, and she clearly did, and so happy for her. It was great for her to have that moment.
Yeah, I think Coach did a great job juggling the lineup, and she kind of came to a set lineup against North Attleboro,
Yeah.
and it worked. And I think you had the same lineup the last 3 games.
Yeah, this is the first year that I didn't have a set lineup prior to the playoffs starting. I usually have a set lineup like 1 to 2 weeks before.
At least by mid-season.
Yeah, before we go into the postseason, and I didn't this year. We just hadn't quite fully figured it out. And then North Attleboro, I had made some changes. Obviously, that was a great game against a great pitcher, and it worked. So we followed that through to the state final game.
So Cece must have been under pressure heading into the 8th. Do you know when she was up for the challenge?
Absolutely. Literally, as soon as she took that mound in the 8th inning, the look on her face changed. I could see in her eyes. She was so determined. And I think that says a lot about her as a player and a person. And that's why she's going to go play Division I. She has that Division I mentality. And so much of softball is a mental game. So, yeah, I knew she was going to do it for us. I mean, I knew it was going to be hard. I didn't think it was going to be easy. That second out, that strikeout that she had was absolutely huge. And getting that first out in the inning, obviously, very big.
Yeah, that second out that she struck out the number 3 hitter was the girl who hit a 2-run homer in the 7th offer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all this is going through our minds. Not that we didn't have confidence in Cece, because we had a ton of confidence in her. But Tewksbury had a game plan, and they executed their game really well also.
They're a good team.
So we have a clip of Cece making the final strikeout to win the game. Let's check it out.
1-2 pitch on the way, Imbimbo on the ground at third. Soohoo, throw over in time, and that's it! The wait is over! They're on top of the D2 softball world.
That's always a great clip to watch over and over and over again. Just put it on repeat.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. We weren't sure. It was so deep in the hole. Neither one of us was sure that Soohoo could get to it. But Cass is playing a great third base all year. And I think if it got past her, I'm not sure that Wiley would have had time to throw out at first. Because it wasn't hit that hard.
It was an unbelievable
And then
play that she
who
made.
knows what happens after that.
Yeah.
So just talk about both your reactions. We'll start with Farrell, and just talk about you brought the D2 title home.
It's something that I think every high school player dreams about, every high school coach dreams about. I mean, that's why you put in the hours, countless hours, whether it's off season, but even in season. That is what we are striving to do, is striving to bring home a state title. It's hard to do. Everybody knows that, right? It's what these girls did is incredible. The teams that they beat to just get to the state finals, incredible, and then beating a really strong Tewksbury team who had already been there, who had the experience, which counts for a lot. This team was just unbelievable. I'm so happy for them, so happy for us.
But kudos to Tewksbury, though, for coming back like they did. We kept taking leads, they keep coming back. We take a lead, they come back. Take a lead. So, I mean, again, great job by their team and their coach.
And your reaction to all of this after seeing that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've been around softball for a long time. I'm probably looking at close to 35 years from coaching my daughters all the way up, and this is our, I think, 14th year with the high school. Been a lot of ups and downs. There's a saying that Coach Farrell has, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And you have to have the luck at the right time. You know, we had a great bunch of girls, phenomenal pitcher, and one of the most cohesive units that we've ever coached together.
And they're just the nicest group of girls, like truly. Every single one of them, just really, really great kids. Really great. I'm glad that it happened to them.
And what will you miss from the 3 captains?
Our seniors are just, again, really, really wonderful kids, like great human beings, awesome leaders. They stepped up. Anything that was asked of them, they did it, and they did it well. Things that were not asked of them, they were like thinking ahead. They would, you know, I'd be like running out of school, get like my 2 kids with me, like trying to get to practice on time, and I would show up like minutes before practice, and then already be like in their run, like warming up. They were just, I couldn't have asked for better leaders.
Yeah, they're definitely a group of girls, the 3 of them, that will go places in their life.
And how have you seen them grow and become team leaders this season?
Yeah, so they missed their freshman year because of COVID. We had a shortened sophomore year because of COVID as well. So unfortunately, I didn't get to coach them for the 4 full years, which is a disappointment to me. But I've seen them just grow as leaders. I know that they all love softball, and they truly took ownership of being leaders, and they knew how important a leadership role would be. You always say the team goes as the seniors go, right? And it's hard spring season. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of, there's prom, there's graduation, there's the all-night party. They were all fully invested in softball despite all of the other awesome things that were going on.
Yeah, plus they're out of school a month before the season ended, you know?
Yep.
And how have you seen them grow?
Ella and Cass were very, very quiet the first couple of years. And those 2 really came out of their shell this year and had a lot more to say and a lot more vocal to the cause. You know, Ella was on the bench a lot, but she was one of the leaders on the bench with the cheers and keeping the bench into it, which was huge. And Cass really was very coachable. And she was the most coachable, I thought, this year. And at least little thing that she could learn from either one of us, she was like, okay, I got this. I'm on top of it. Cece's been amazing all along. She, and as amazing as she was last year, she was that much better this year.
Keeps getting better.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to her college coach after the North Attleboro game. They were there watching. And I said, you should feel very lucky. I said, I've watched this girl improve incredibly each year. And I'm sure she'll do that next year for you guys.
Now, we're going to take a trip, go a little back in the past and talk a little about your history as in high school. So I'm going to turn over to you, Bob. And first off, I'm going to talk a little about Kristen's softball journey from high school years until now.
Well, we started even before that with AAU softball. And we started her playing when she was 11 years old. And it was, I think, a rude awakening.
Yeah, that first year.
At first.
Club, yeah.
You know, we were losing every game like 25 to probably 0.
Yeah.
But her and the whole team that I coached back then, everyone persevered. No one got discouraged. No one gave it up. And by the time they got to high school, they were pretty well seasoned, I thought.
We had more to say.
Yeah, well, when she got to high school, there was her, and there was another girl, Megan, who was a very good pitcher also. So they pretty much shared duties, but they were a great 1-2 punch through high school. And then Kristen really excelled when she got to UMass Lowell.
And just talk about her time as a standout pitcher for the Red Devils on the mound.
Well, I think her best season, as far as awards and all that, was her junior season when she beat Reading twice that year. And Reading was the nemesis. They won the Middlesex League that year, and she was league MVP of the Middlesex League.
Congratulations on that. So, Kristen, you were the Daily Times Chronicle Softball Player of the Year back in 2002, so congratulations to that.
I forgot about that.
How did it feel to be recognized that year?
In 2002?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
They were going to war a while
I know,
back.
that's a real, yeah. I loved playing for Burlington High School. I played with a bunch of friends, and our goal was always to win, bring home a state title. We didn't. But yeah, being recognized with the awards was awesome. Obviously, I would have given up those awards in a second to be a state champion with my team. But yeah, the awards were great. I worked really hard on my game. This guy always said I could have worked harder, which is probably right, probably true. I think I stepped it up in college. But yeah, it's always nice to be recognized.
Now, you continued pitching at UMass Lowell, as you were saying earlier. Just talk about the opportunity to get to the 2007 title and the NCAA Tournament East Regional Semifinal. So since 2010, you've been the head coach of Devils softball, replacing former coach Mary McGinn. Under your leadership, you brought the team to 3 state title games, winning your first one this year. How do you feel your passion for the game and success as a player impacted your success as a coach?
I've always loved the game of softball. Like, literally, I can remember the moment I was at a clinic, a softball clinic, when I was 11 years old, and they had everybody try pitching. Everybody had to try it. And I picked it up, and I started throwing, and I went home, and I was like, Dad, I want to do this. And that literally was the moment that I fell in love with softball. He went and got me lessons, and then the rest is history. But I hope that my passion is passed on to those who have either played with me or under me. Going back to college, winning the, oh my gosh, what was the league called? Northeast 10. That was the first time that UMass Lowell had ever won a Northeast 10 conference championship. That was so exciting to bring that title to UMass Lowell, and then to go as deep into the NCAAs as we did. Obviously, we were hoping to go to the College World Series. That is every college girl's or boy's dream as well. But I just, you'd think that the passion would fade a little bit. As soon as I graduated, I knew that I couldn't be done with softball. And that's when I thought coaching would be a nice opportunity to just share that passion. And yeah, I've been sharing it ever since.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about Coach Farrell here, that after that 2007 season, she got recruited by the Croatian national team.
Wow. Wow.
And she went over to Croatia and stayed with the family over there and trained most of the summer. And then they drove over there in a bus, I guess, to Parma, Italy, and played in the European games. And she brought Croatia their first win as a pitcher.
Yeah.
Talk about that journey.
In country history.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience because there were only a couple girls on the Croatian softball team that spoke English. My roommate, the one who hosted me, was one of them. And so, the coach would be talking about plays and stuff, and should be over here translating for me. So I had to learn, oh gosh, I don't even remember. I had to learn the numbers in Croatian, so I knew what play was happening. And
so was that a little
intimidating? Yes, and I was by myself, the only American over there. And then actually when we went to Parma, Italy, we drove, and on our way picked up a pitcher and a catcher, and the catcher spoke Italian, so I couldn't communicate with the catcher who I was throwing to. And I have never I appreciate my catcher from college and high school in West Hannafin so much, but never more than those moments. It's really hard when you can't actually communicate with your catcher. Crazy.
So how long were you there in Croatia?
About a month, and then the tournament was a week long.
And then what was what was it like? What was the weather like?
It was warm. I remember it being hot. Yeah, pretty warm. And they didn't have Gatorade. That's what I remember. There was no Gatorade. There was just water. And when we were in Italy, it was just pizza and pasta. And I went home and I was like, I don't want.
Did you eat the pizza with the fork and knife?
That's
how I.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I just remember not wanting to see pizza or pasta for months after I got home.
Did you go with her on this journey? Or
no, and one of my few regrets.
So it must have been difficult saying, "Oh, she's overseas. I wonder how she's doing." Did you write to him?
I would call them.
Yeah, we kept in touch almost every day. But
yeah.
But it was a tough time for my wife and I to get out of work, and
right.
Yeah.
and we didn't know she was going to be one of the stars of the team either.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was cool. It was very cool.
Do you have a team photo of that? Or
I'm sure I could dig some up. Yeah.
That'd be awesome to see.
Yeah.
So, Kristen, how has your dad led you to what you want, to the person you are today?
Oh gosh, he has instilled, confidence, a work ethic of like keep working harder. He has built my knowledge of the game. I mean, from a young age, you know, I think every kid who has a dad as a coach knows this, but the car rides home, yes, he was telling you what you did well, but he was also, you know, telling you where you could have improved on. And I think because of that, I had a really good knowledge of the game, not just like as a pitcher, you know, but also in like all aspects of the game. And with him being an assistant coach, we make a really great team. And I'm always like, I'll have an idea and I'll be like, Dad, do you think this will work? And he'll be honest with me. He'll be like, nope, I think you should do this instead. And I'll be like, oh, that's a better idea. Yeah, let's do that. So I truly wouldn't be the player or coach that I am today without him.
I think another thing too, if let's say she'll steal a base runner and the base runner gets thrown out, I'll look at it as soon as I get, you know, within earshot, I would have done the same thing, I'll say to her.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll be quick to say maybe I would have done something different, but I'll also confirm that I would have done the same thing too.
So what differences have you seen since your daughter took over for the team?
You're talking back to 2010?
Yeah. Like the differences with the team since your daughter took over.
Well, I think with the program, it was almost an immediate turnaround, especially in the win and loss column. It was definitely immediate turnaround. I think if you talk to any of the players that played for us back in those days, they'll say they probably didn't appreciate us until they went on and played in college and played for different coaches, and then they learned to appreciate us more. But both of us, I mean, we're a better tandem today than we were the first year. I mean, the more you work with somebody, the better you get, and you get on the same page.
I do remember thinking back in 2010 or 11, the first time we went to the state finals, I remember thinking, oh, it's only my second year as a head coach, and we're in the finals. Like, I wish it was a few more years out so I had a little bit more of like a knowledge or whatever. I felt way more confident going into the state championship game with, you know, 14 years under my belt versus 2, you know, or 1 full season and then that season. So I feel like I've grown a lot as a coach. I also feel like I've toned it down a lot. Our practices used to be like 2.5 hours. Now they're like an hour and a half, but, you know, a good solid hour and a half of like.
But very productive
focused.
though.
Yes,
very productive. Yeah.
But I think any past player would be like, yeah, you've softened a little bit, maybe.
Softened.
Yeah.
So just talk about how you got involved as the assistant on the team, and how long did you do that, or did you start out for?
Well, I've been doing it since she started, and back then when she took over, there was no assistant or anything. She would have been by herself, and I knew how hard and difficult that would have been for her to try to run the whole team by herself. So I said, I'll be happy to volunteer, and I'll be there as much as I can.
Yeah, every hour he's put in is just a volunteer. He hasn't gotten paid a dime for all this, so he just stepped up because we knew that I needed help.
And why did you make the decision to stay another year with the program?
That's a great question. I knew this group. I could see them molding, and obviously with Cece maturing and coming into her own, I just had a feeling that this year, I don't know what it is, just intuition or something, I just felt as though this season could be something very special. That doesn't mean next season won't be too, but I just had that inclination that this season could be something very special, and I definitely wanted to be a part of it.
And how are you feeling knowing that the Sortino Field or the state championship game was your last game?
No regrets, definitely, you know, very elation, you know. I mean, how can you not be like really happy at a moment like that? I mean, we've worked so hard, and I mean, myself, I've coached probably, I don't know, thousands of games, you know, during the years, and that was the perfect climax.
What will you miss the most?
I would say probably what I'll miss the most is the bonding between my daughter and I, and the time we spend together.
Yeah, we talk about this nonstop. My mom and my sister are probably like, stop talking about softball. But yeah, I remember actually, I'll just tell you a quick little story.
Yeah, we have all.
I mean, our bond has been, you know, huge through softball, right? If I ever got like a bad grade on a test, I'd be like, Dad, you want to go play catch in the backyard? So I'd grab his glove and I'd be like, hey, so I didn't do so great on this test. But
what?
Yeah, that's how I would like break bad news to him.
But no, it's been a great bond. And she'll do great without me next year too.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough.
Well, I want to thank you two for coming on. Congratulations. Good luck. Hopefully we see you soon at Marvin Field next spring. Hopefully come by and watch everybody. But congratulations to you two, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us on.
Thanks,
This
I
was
appreciate
great.
it, Rob. Thank you.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We are back with the 23 captains, Ella Bruno, Cece Imbimbo, and Cassidy Soohoo. Ladies, thank you for coming on and joining the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So let's go into the playoffs of how we got to the state championship. The first game was Pembroke, which you shut them out 4-0. Just talk a little about how you kept them scoreless and on the diamond.
Yeah, I mean, I went into that game just thinking like, all right, we're in playoffs now. It's different than the regular season, and now I really have to lock in and just like get batters out, try my best, trust my defense, and I mean, it worked out. We did beat them 4-0. The team came around with the hits. It was the first playoff game is always the scariest because it's like a different feeling than everything else we've played before. So I think everyone was like a little nervous. You have those like jitters or whatever, but I feel like towards the middle end of the game, we pulled it together. We got the runs in, we kept them scoreless, and we pulled away with the win. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like she said, it was the first game, so everyone's nervous. But then again, it's just another game. Just you lose, you don't get another one. So it's kind of just that mentality that you leave everything out on the field each and every game so that if you win or if you lose, you don't have any regrets. And I mean, Cece's been great for us, and it's just having her back. If they put the ball in play, just expecting the ball to come to you and then making the play when it comes.
We had a lot of great hits, and Cece was amazing pitching. And we kept our energy up with all our cheers and never let out.
So in the second round, you had a one-sided win over Shepherd Hill 6-1. After that win, there were some tougher opponents that were up next. So we go to the quarterfinals. North Attleboro led the game 1-0. How were you able to come back late in the game and win it 2-1?
Yeah, I mean, we were down 1-0, which is kind of like a tough feeling because I feel like for our team, we're usually the first ones that get ahead. But everyone was like, all right, like they're up 1-0, it means nothing. It's still, I mean, I think everyone on the team just thinks 0-0 game, top of the first inning, nothing's any different. And we came around, we fought, and we were just like Cass said, it's if you lose, it's the last game ever, and no one wants that to happen. So I think all the girls had like an edge on them, chip on their shoulder, and they were like, we're gonna get these runs across, and we're gonna win this game no matter what. And that's what happened. We did get up 2-1 in the bottom of the sixth inning, and closed it out in the seventh. And it was just, for that, I mean, we were all, because it was the game leading into the Final Four, so just the feeling of being like, wow, like we're in the Final Four after that, it was just awesome. It was like, that game was, I think, one of the toughest games we played throughout that whole playoff series.
Yeah, and like she said, we went down 1, but there was never a doubt in my mind that we were going to come back from that, and I don't think, like anyone else, felt differently, that we knew we had it in us. We just had to put the ball in play and make things happen, and that's what we did.
Yeah, we stayed up the whole time and never got down and put the ball in play.
And we have a clip of the last pitch at the Final Four in Worcester, so let's take a look.
Pitch from Imbimbo. Line to second. King stabs it, throws over, and it is in time! And that's the ball game!
So, Cece, how were you able to keep the number 1 seeded Westfield scoreless?
Yeah, I mean, we had played them before in the season, so it was just like I knew their batters. I knew what they could and couldn't hit. And I feel like that game, I threw a very specific pitch most of the time. So the second game going into it, I was like, all right, I'm going to try and keep them off balance, throw them something that they haven't seen before. And that's what I did, and I think it worked. It was to our advantage. They got hits. They definitely got hits. I mean, the first batter of the game had a line drive through shortstop and third to start off the game. So I was like, all right, like, let's lock it in and just get this done. So we got out of every inning scoreless. And then in the top of the seventh, we scored. Like, we came up, what was the score of that game? 3-0.
Yep,
They scored 3
yep.
runs on the top of the 7th inning, and that just shows you how like strong our team was, how mentally prepared we were for that. No one was going to let anything take us down, and just to win it like that, it was honestly an awesome feeling.
Now, speaking of that, we have a clip of those 3 runs.
On the way. Line to the right. Deep and dropped. 2-run score. Imbimbo into second. And it's 2-0 Devils. Morgan Ryan slashes one up the middle. Cortez is rounding third. Throw in is late. It's 3-0.
So, how did you all feel when you had full control at that moment, scoring those 3 runs?
I mean, I think we all felt how Charlotte did when she was jumping across the plate. She was just filled with excitement, and I think the entire bench was. I mean, you could probably hear us all from a mile away. Everyone was screaming. Everyone was up. It was amazing. It was so unreal. It was awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever screamed louder in my life after that. Like, it was just like adrenaline rush, and then obviously you'd have to channel that energy down to close out the 7th inning, which is what Cece and the rest of our defense did. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was really exciting. You could see all of our excitement, and then just kept it calm for the end of the inning, and we won.
We had a fence shot right there, but
Yeah.
I mean, the whole place was basically fenced. I mean, there was a place over there where we were going to set up, but it's just like it wasn't a good opportunity to set up there. It wasn't good. Anyways, now we're going to Amherst, the UMass State Championship game, which is a big game, as we all know. So just talk about your thoughts during the trip. What were going through all your minds just traveling on that coach bus that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was the night before was honestly the scariest part. It was just so many things going through my head. It was like hard to fall asleep that night because I was like, wow, like we're going to the state finals tomorrow. Like it's gonna be a big day. But just woke up, got on that bus. We actually had a little like fan section that like they were like cheering for us, holding signs on our way out. So that was pretty cool. That just, I mean, I think for all of us, it just made us feel like, oh, like we have people to count on, like people like care about us, blah blah blah. So. Whatever, we got a police escort to the game, so that was also really cool. I think it was just a special feeling. I've never had that in my lifetime, and I don't think any of us have, so it was pretty cool. And then just arriving at Amherst and like seeing the field, there was a game going on while we got there, and just being able to see the environment that it was crazy. Like it's so loud, and I think just watching the couple of innings from that first game going on got us like in the right mentality, like okay, like let's do this, let's lock in. We got our warm-up done. Everyone was excited. Everyone was pumped. We had the music going. It was really cool. But
honestly, for me, it kind of just felt like a regular another game until like we finally got there, and then it's just like you see the field and you see all the fans from like the previous game, and then it kind of like hits you that like this is your last game, and like there's stakes big stakes at the end, and it's obviously you want to win coming out of it, so it definitely like ramped up the nerves towards the beginning of the game, but then once the game started, it kind of just like settled in.
Yeah, the ride there, it was long, but
Yes, it was very long.
yeah, it did just feel like a normal game. It didn't feel like our last game at that point, but like Cass was saying, once we got there, like we knew, all 3 of us, it was our last game no matter what happens, and it was exciting but also nerve-wracking.
So, Cece, it was 9-4 Burlington going in the bottom of the 7th. Tewksbury scored 5 runs to tie up the game in the last inning. How did you feel as they tied up the score, and how did you hold them to a tie score to force extra innings?
yeah, I mean, obviously that's not what we expected to happen. We were up 5 runs, so I was just like, okay, let's go out there and get the job done. But I mean, them coming back with the 5 runs, that's just softball. I mean, everything's unexpected. You never know what's going to happen, and that's what makes it exciting. So that ended up happening, but I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to get down on myself. That's just going to make it even worse. We got, like, I came in the dugout that inning. I kind of, like, sat myself down and just, like, mentally talked to myself, like, took a breather, relaxed. I was like, okay, it's tie game. It's 0-0 pretty much. Like, let's go get it done the next inning. And while I was sitting in the dugout, the girls ended up scoring 1 run to get us ahead, and I was like, okay, like they just did that for me. Now I'm gonna go out there and get these next 3 outs for them, and that ended up happening. I locked in. I mean, I think I was there mentally. I wasn't even nervous. I was like, I'm just gonna go get it done, And obviously my teammates came around with the plays too. I mean, that first out, I think it was to Abby in right field, the pop-up. She had to go back on that one too, and she got the out. We all wanted it. And then second one was a strikeout. That was another one, so we had 2 outs at this point. And the next batter, ground ball to Cass, that was a hard play too. I mean, Cass really, she had to run to shortstop, cut that off, and make a good throw to first, and she got it done. So it was just that last inning, we all came together as a team, I think. We all locked in, and it was just, we got it done. We won our last game of the season, so.
And Maddie Kane scored in the top of the 8th. How important was this for you all?
Maddie's been great all season. I mean, she's come in clutch, like, every time we need her. So, I mean, it's kind of like you expected that from her. And she stepped up big time, and she's just a sophomore, so it's exciting to see what she still has left in her career. But, I mean, it was big. It was huge. It gave us a lead. Obviously, being the away team, that's what you kind of want going into the final inning. So it just put, I guess, like, lessen the pressure, but obviously pressure is still there because it is the state championship. But, yeah, it was big.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been playing with Maddie since we were little, and even when she was younger, she always had that fight in her, that, like, she always wanted to win, she always wanted to do good. And when she was up in that situation in the top of the 8th inning with the runner on second, I think we were all confident that she was going to get the job done. I mean, she was great, she was phenomenal during the season, and just for her to be in that situation, she was the right person to be there. She was the one we wanted there, and she got the job done. So, yeah, again, she's a sophomore, so, like, who knows what's to come. I mean, I'm so proud of her and just can't wait to see where she ends up.
Yeah, Maddie is a great overall player, especially with hitting. She's a great competitor, and she really stepped up, and yeah.
So, Cece, how much pressure did you feel headed into the 8th inning after a tough 7th inning, and how are you preparing yourself mentally?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously, like, a lot of pressure, but I kind of just knocked myself out of that, and I was like, I'm not going to, like, bring all this pressure upon myself. I'm not going to let the nerves get to me. I mean, I've always been told confidence is key, so I was like, all right, it's time to step up. It's time to be confident. Like, I told myself, I was like, you can do it. Like, go out there. It's 3 outs. You're 3 outs away from winning the state championship. And as soon as I, like, stepped onto the mound for just those warm-up pitches, I was, like, locked in. Like, I couldn't hear anything from, like, the crowd or anything. I couldn't hear anything. I don't know. It was just a weird feeling. I don't think I've ever felt like that before. But, yeah, I mean, I knew the first out was the biggest. That's what Coach always says, first out is the biggest. And we got that out, that pop-up to Abby. And then just the next 2 outs after that, I think. And, yeah, I don't know. It was just, it was a crazy feeling. It was honestly, like, I don't even remember hearing anything. I was just so locked in. I think the rest of the girls were so locked in. It was really cool, especially for Cass to get that last out. I don't know, it was amazing.
So talk about your emotions after that 3rd strikeout.
Yeah, what strikeout? The second one?
The very last play, we won it.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it didn't even hit me until Katie made that catch, and I was like, wait, like, we just won the state championship. Like, I know, it, like, took me a second. I was like, oh my gosh, like, we just won it. And then all the emotions came flooding in. I'm like, the game's over, and we just won the state championship. Everyone, it was so cool. Everyone, like, huddled in. Everyone was hugging each other. I think some people were a little emotional, it was really cool.
Well, I think everyone was gathered on the mound after that.
Oh yeah, it was
everyone. It was phenomenal.
It was awesome. I mean, I think I hugged everyone like 3 times. Like, we were all just so happy. It was so cool to see, like, everyone just together after that, and the crowd going wild. I think I'm just very proud of everyone on this team, and the coach is so thankful to have them.
So this is a question for everyone. Just talk about all of your emotions as not only becoming state champs, but for the first time in the team's history.
I don't know. It's kind of just, like, crazy to think of, like, we're state champs, like, still kind of just, like, I don't know, just, like, a surreal feeling. It's definitely, like, an honor, I guess, to be the first team to has actually won it for program history. So it's definitely a good feeling. It's great to see, like, the work that we put through in our years of high school finally, like, paid off with this great, like, achievement that many people can't say that they have. So, I mean, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, we all knew that this team, like, the Burlington High School softball team, had made it before for 2 years, but they didn't win the championship. So I think we all we're like, okay, like we have the group to do it. This is the group of girls that we have, and we're going to get it done. And I think we all just really wanted it for Coach, honestly. We knew how passionate she was about it. She was, I mean, every practice, she was there for us. We were working hard. I could tell she wanted it, and same with all the other coaches. And I think just winning that, it felt great as the player, but it felt great to even to win that for Coach Kristen.
Yeah, it's such a great feeling, especially since we're the first team to win for Burlington softball. And it shows that all of our hard work really did pay off.
Now that trophy, it was big. Just talk about like that, just holding it, and it was just a great feeling.
Yeah, they called the captains up, and we went to pick up that trophy. Coach handed it to us. I was like, wow, like I've never felt this way before. Like, this is pretty cool, just getting handed that trophy. And it's just like, looking at it, it's like all the hard work we put in over the years, like it finally paid off, and handed the trophy. We got to turn around, show it to the girls. Everyone was so excited. It was really cool moment.
And then you walked in on Sortino Field. You saw it like at the corner with Division 1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah.
You were probably looking at it like,
oh yeah,
is that gonna be ours?
Oh my gosh, the urge. I was like, I want that so bad.
So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk about the other athletes and the staff members on the team. So let's start off by how do you feel about Coach Farrell and Assistant Mahoney as they guided you as a captain to help lead the team to the state title win?
Yeah, I mean, there's like no words to explain how thankful I am, and I think the rest of us are, to have them as our coaches over the past 3 years. But just so thankful to have them. Like Coach Farrell, she was a huge help to the team and for me personally. Like she was a pitcher herself, so she could help me in any situation. She knew how to calm me down. She knew what I was going through. And just knowing that she was there before, it helped me as well, because I knew I could trust her. She'd always been there for me. And Coach Bob, I mean, we knew he had a lot of knowledge for the game. He'd been coaching for many, many years. And we all just knew we could trust both of them. I mean, they knew what they were talking about, so I'm very thankful to have them.
Yeah, they've been great. They've been huge support for me and the rest of the girls. Like anything you had a question on, they'd be there to answer it like right away. So you knew whatever like you needed to, I guess, they just like were there, and you could go to them for whatever, and they'd get on you sometimes, but that's what coaches do. But it's just for the best of us, and they know what we had the potential this year. So, I mean, you kind of just take that, like, not personally, but like just to get better each and every day. So they're great coaches.
Yeah, they're both really great coaches. They're very knowledgeable about the game and make really great plays. And they're passionate about the sport as well. And just Coach makes every practice like important and matter. And she makes the practice get us ready for the next game. So
Talk a little about Coach McCarthy.
Coach Kelly, she's very fun and passionate about the sport as well. She's played softball all throughout high school and college, so she's also very knowledgeable of the game. And she knows how to just like calm us down in big moments, and she's there for all of us.
Yeah, Coach Kelly, she made the game fun for a lot of us. I mean, I'm going to miss her so much after this. It was so much fun being able to play under her as well. She also played softball before us, so she knew what it was like to be in the moment. She was on that team that made it to the state finals as well. So she knew what that moment was like, and she just made it the most fun it could be for us. Like going into the States, she had like a famous quote, which I won't say, but I don't know. She just
Classified.
she was pretty much like saying like, this is a big deal, but in her own words. But yeah, Coach Kelly, she was just awesome. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of coaches like her out there. She made the game fun, so very thankful to have her. I love her so much.
Yeah, I mean, she was just as good as all the other coaches. I mean, but she brought the fun to every practice and every game. She really like got the energy going. Like she was always on top of us about energy, and that's what we needed. You could just count on her to like get us going, keep us going, and then you can just go to talk to her with whatever, because like they all said, she previously played at high school and college, so she knows what it's like. So it was just great being coached by her.
Yeah, the best thing about her, she always knew how to make someone laugh. Yeah. So if you had a bad inning, a bad outcome, whatever, she always knew how to make you laugh. So it's just great to have her.
Cece, what have you learned from Coach Farrell, who was also a pitcher, and how she made you a better athlete?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I learned from her. She was honestly just huge in my career at Burlington. I don't think it would have been what it was without her, but she taught me a lot. I mean, she taught me the mental game. You obviously have to be calm, confident, and she helped me a lot with that. She helped me, like, say a pitch was off or something. She knew how to fix it because she's been there. But, I mean, I'm honestly so thankful to have had her throughout my career at Burlington. She was huge, and I'm honestly, it's kind of sad that it's over. That was our last time ever playing under her, but I know that in the coming years she'll be the same old. She'll be like helpful, and she's just gonna get the girls to where they need to be. And she's just, for anyone coming in, I can just say, like, be very excited to play under her. It's an unreal feeling.
So we're going to switch gears one more time. We're going to talk a little bit of the past and how you girls got started off in softball. And we're going to start with you, Ella. So how did you get involved with softball?
I think I started in 2nd grade. My cousin was playing softball, just like in the town league, and I decided I wanted to play as well. And I just loved it ever since.
And how or when did you know you wanted to play for the Red Devil softball team?
I always knew since I started softball that I wanted to play all throughout high school. Yeah.
And talk about your favorite part of being on the team.
It's probably just being with all the girls. They're all very supportive, and we go out with each other a lot after games and practices, and it's a really great team to be a part of.
And what was your position? Just talk a little about that for us.
Yeah, I was on the bench a lot, but I would also pitch sometimes, and just cheer on the team and help when needed.
And how do you feel your family and coaches helped you along the way?
They're all very supportive of me, especially my dad. When I practiced pitching, he would always be catching for me, and Coach would always give me really great tips to help me improve on my game.
And do you plan on continuing to compete in softball in college? If yes, what position and where? And if not, what was it like to finish your softball career as a state champ?
I'm not planning on continuing to play softball, so it feels really great to just end on being a state champion.
And now we're going to go to Cassidy Soohoo. So how did you get involved with softball?
When I was like 5, maybe, T-ball, my dad just signed me up, and then I just loved hitting the ball and just running the bases. And then from there, I kind of just played rec ball and then summer, and then grew my love for the sport.
And when did you know you wanted to play for the softball team for Burlington High?
Sports are a big part of my life, so I kind of was always doing something. So I knew when I got to high school, I needed to continue to play sports.
And just talk about your position.
Oh, so I'm a third baseman, so I guess just fielding what comes to me.
And what was your favorite part about being on the team?
I think just being in the environment and with a bunch of great people. We are teammates, but in the end, we're all friends. So like Ella said, we hang out after every game in practice, going to eat or just going to people's houses, just I don't know, just spending time with each other because we truly got along, and then just the coaches being there and supporting all of us.
And how do you feel your family and coaches helped you along the way?
They were all very supportive. The season definitely had ups and downs, but we all stuck through it together, so it was good having a support system.
And do you plan on continuing softball in college? If yes, talk about it. If not, just talk about your softball career and then as a state champ.
I'm unsure whether I'll do something in college or not, but just ending my career off as a state champ is good. Just a good feeling, ending your career off in a win. Not everyone can say that. So it definitely is a good feeling to end a season being a state champ.
And how did you get yourself in softball, Cece?
Yeah, I mean, I think I started around the same time as Cass and Ella when we were in like second grade, I think. And then from there, I just grew the love for the game, played all throughout elementary, middle school, and up until now, yeah. But
And how did you know you wanted to play for the Devils?
I mean, when I was younger, like, my dad would always be like, oh, like, you, like, high school's coming up, like, are you excited to play on the high school team? And I don't know, it was always just, like, set in my head that I was going to go play for the high school. I mean, when I was, I think in middle school, I'd go and, like, watch their games, and it was just, I was like, oh, I can't wait to be here someday. Like, this is pretty cool, but.
And just talk about your favorite part
Of the game.
of the team and game and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think just being with the girls, the environment we had on this team, everyone was always up. Everyone was trying their best. The work ethic on this team was unreal. I mean, everyone was always going hard. But it was just a lot of fun to be a part of the team and even off the field. I mean, in the end, we're all people. We're just, never mind the softball part, we're all friends. And it was just cool to, like, the bond that we had as the season went on, how, like, good it got. I mean, we were going out after, like, I think every single practice, and it was a lot of fun to be on the team.
Now just talk about your position as the pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, as the pitcher, you have the ball in your hand majority of the time, so you have the power to slow down the game when needed. You have the power to, like, even, like, call timeouts when needed, calm everyone else down, and just, like, you're the center of attention pretty much, so you just gotta hold your emotions well, hold yourself high, don't keep your emotions on your sleeve, and just go out there and be confident. So it was cool.
Now, did you take over for someone when you first started out on the team?
No, I didn't
You
actually.
didn't. It was just right there from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would have happened if I played freshman year. I didn't know if there was anyone else there, but I started sophomore year because of COVID, and it was me, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about your family and coaches and how they help you along the way?
I mean, my family was a huge part of everything. I mean, my dad, I couldn't have done it without him. Since I was younger, he's been pushing me. He would make me go outside and just pitch and pitch and pitch. And I don't think I wouldn't have been where I am today without him. He pushed me so hard, and he made me fall in love with the game. And then obviously my mom, my siblings, they just all, like, my entire family really just helped me grow my love for the game. And then the coaches here as well. It was really, really fun to play under them. They all had a passion for the sport, and it also made me grow an even bigger passion for the sport. So just all together, a huge support system, and it was really awesome.
Now we have a scholarship going to Merrimack, so just talk a little about you'll be pitching there, I'm assuming?
Yep. I'm very excited to continue my softball career at Merrimack. I'm glad it's not over yet. I mean, it was great. Unreal. I mean, a lot of people don't get to say, like, oh, I won my state championship my senior year. Like, a lot of people don't get to go out that way. But, yeah, I'm just excited to play at Merrimack and just continue pitching, playing, being on a team, and I'm excited to see where I end up.
Now you're going to be teaming up with Sydney Shinopoulos,
Yep.
so it's back. It's when she was on the team, now you're reuniting
I know,
with her.
like full circle, right?
Yeah.
She actually came back and helped coach during the playoffs this year, so it was cool to just, like, get back with Sid and just, like, build our connection, our bond, and I think we got really close throughout the playoffs. It was cool to have her, like, coach me. We've always played together. I've never had her as a coach. But I think we both had a lot of fun, and I'm just excited to play with her at Merrimack. I think we're going to have a good time.
And what are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to, like I said, playing softball again after high school. I mean, these next 4 years, after this, it's it. So I'm just going to work my hardest, try my best, and have the most fun I can. So.
Now we're going to wrap things up with this final question for each of you. If you had to describe the season in one word, what would it be and why?
Exciting. We tried so hard this whole entire season. In the end, being the state championship was exciting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's enough words to even sum up the season, but if I were to choose one, I would say, like, unreal. Like, just being able to go out the way we did and win the state championship I don't know, it was unreal. Like, I don't know, it's awesome.
I think one word would be, like, surreal. I mean, going to season, we knew we had potential, but to finally see it, like, come to an end with us like holding that trophy and having that final like achievement like finally like come alive, it's just, yeah, surreal.
All right, I want to thank you ladies for coming on. Congratulations, good luck in the future, and go Lady Devils.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, I want to congratulate the team on an incredible season. I'd like to thank my guests, Kristen Farrell, Bob Mahoney, Cece Imbimbo, Cassidy, Soohoo, and Ella Bruno. I'd also like to thank you all for watching. I'm Robert Parris, and we'll see you next time on BNEWS Sports Hub.